Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. So I'm actually finishing up. This is my first week working from home. It's been awesome. Huge adjustment, but it's been great. But today I'm going to do an update video on my 2021 Ford F-150 PowerBoost. It has now been in the shop a total of 65 days. It's been a long 2 months and it's driving me insane. Let's go get that truck. I am looking very forward to getting rid of this turd. I hate everything about this car. We can finally honor these sponsorships. Been sitting there forever. All right, we'll do a 0 to 60 pull here. This is a 2021, 22, whatever it is, EcoSport. And before I get rid of this car, this is the car that the dealership gave me on loaner. It's all they had, apparently. And I will tell you, if you're in the market for any vehicle, skip the EcoSport. I have been just absolutely pinned to the floor, the throttle right now, all the way to the floor. You would say, well, you know, at least it probably gets good gas mileage. But it doesn't. It's a tiny little compact car. In 2,400 miles that I've had on it here, it's gotten 24 miles per gallon, which there's plenty of other vehicles out there that can get that kind of mileage and might have a little turbo 4-cylinder and have a little more sporty feel. So I don't know why they chose to call it an EcoSport, because it's neither eco nor sport. It doesn't do either one of those things well. So the naming scheme there, quite questionable. Let's get over to the dealership and see how my 21 F-150 is holding up. And there she is. So weird driving this truck. I haven't driven it in 2 months now. It smells like a homeless guy was sleeping in here. So weird driving this thing. Everything on here is so sun faded. I don't know if you can see this here. This steering wheel, you can see like streaks on it. Not sure if that's showing up on camera, but this truck's sitting for months, unprotected, unmaintained in Arizona when it's 110 degrees outside. Not ideal. We'll get to detailing this thing up and just trying to get some of the stench out too here. Well, this is freaking incredible. There is no audio from the entire left side of the truck. Luckily, I've mastered how to hard reset that because I've had to do it 10 trillion times. There it is. Just stopped at AutoZone to get rid of this odor, man. It stinks. It just stinks like unoccupied car and dirty mechanic. A little refresh and a cabin air filter. Try to clean it up a little bit. This wheel is pretty smoked. You can see where I cleaned and So I'm coming to you guys with an update on my 2021 Ford F-150. This is a PowerBoost Lariat 502A package for anybody who's interested. Catch people up to speed. This truck has now been in the shop for over 60 days in that 11 months that I've owned it. Basically 4 months of ownership of this truck were not great. Now this whole situation recently had to do with the EGR valve. I took this truck on a road trip to California to actually pick up a Harley-Davidson live wire, which I did some videos on here. And on the way back, I had a bunch of issues with it just spitting and sputtering. So I did take it into the dealership and it needed an EGR valve. So this ticket here was dated April 22nd of 22 when I checked it in, but it was actually in for 3 days before that for the same issue. But again, this was April 22nd and I just got it back on June 17th. So that was a total of 56 days consecutively, 59 days total for this specific issue. Now I did get some comments from some people, one of which this Saline guy who said he was an ASE certified mechanic. People asking, hey, why didn't you just swap the EGR valve itself? And I certainly could have just taken an EGR valve from the dealership, basically towed my vehicle back home, swapped it out myself. But as I replied to this ASE certified mechanic, I didn't do that because it's getting too far into the engine. And on these motors, the PowerBoost, the hybrid powertrain, I'm not interested in doing the repair myself, causing more issues with the motor and then having Ford turn around and telling me to shove it because I created the problem. I'll wrench on things that I know how to fix myself, things I'm comfortable with, but the last thing you'll see me doing here is getting into things that I'm uncertain about and then just sharing it on YouTube as if anybody can do it, because that's irresponsible. And to him I said, I'm not interested in not knowing what the issue is further downstream. That ended up coming true because what happened was they did get the parts, removed EGR valve to inspect, found EGR valve is broken and full of coolant. Further inspection revealed EGR cooler is full of coolant, pressure tested, which I don't have the ability to really pressure test that here. They pressure tested the EGR cooler and dunked underwater and found the EGR cooler leaked internally, and they replaced that EGR cooler and EGR valve. But again, getting into this stuff and doing it myself, I am very confident in doing a lot of wrenching on my own, but there are certain things, especially when you get into warranty on trucks that are MSRP 72 grand, that you buy a truck with a warranty. That is a huge selling point. So I did mention in a previous video that I opened up a lemon law claim on this truck. I did that early on when they told me it was going to be in the shop for over 30 days. There was no end in sight on when that part might come in. I opened up that lemon law case. I'm not, unfortunately, able to tell you guys how that resolved, so it's really a bummer to not be able to share with you guys, but I'll probably do a separate video just sharing how the whole lemon law process works in general and how you can do it essentially on your own. Again, look for a separate video on that because I do think that I'll create that video. So what do I intend on doing with this truck? At this point, I've put 222 miles on it since I picked it up. I wanted to put as much on it as I could to see if it was running right. I'm now working from home, so I've actually switched jobs. I put 17,000 miles on this truck in the first 11 months that I owned it. And now that I work from home, I won't be putting that many miles on it. So I wanted to get it out and just make sure that it was all running well, and it was. So at least it has since I picked it back up. So where I sit now, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I've mentioned on this channel previously that I am a pretty big fan of the new GMC AT4X. They've since stopped producing the 6.2 liter motor because of shortages or whatever the case may be. So that 6.2 liter AT4X is currently off the table. I don't know, I looked into Ram and they had a package I was very interested in. I hate the dial shifter. People are, kind of have at it. It's personal preference. I personally hate it. I won't buy the Ram with that dial shifter, and the console shift package they have, they stopped making that because of microchip shortages. The Ram TRX, I almost actually ordered one a few weeks back, but not knowing what was going on with this, I just kind of stopped that for the time being. That's a $90,000 MSRP truck. For this channel, that TRX would be awesome. I'm not saying I won't do it. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm kind of waiting to see how this whole microchip shortage thing plays out. Chapman Ford was actually fantastic with potentially finding a replacement for this truck, but because of inventory shortages, they didn't really have anything either. They do have a Raptor that I could get into, but I'm also now at the point where I don't know if I want to buy another Ford and run the risks of going through some of the quality control issues that I kind of perceive Ford as having. So I feel like right now a lot of dealerships are just struggling to make ends meet, and it's costing you and me, the consumer, tens of thousands of dollars. I've seen Raptors marked up in town here upwards of $30,000. If you're buying that, and you even have the means to do it, I think that's just stupid. I don't think they're worth that. I think when the Raptor R comes out in a few months, that all these people that are spending 10 to 30 grand over on a Raptor, regular model, which I would argue is actually probably the better truck to buy. Probably make another video on that. But when the Raptor R comes out and those are selling for 150 grand, the 6-cylinder version is going to be not probably devalued a whole lot, but certainly not going to hold that $30,000 markup by no means, nowhere even close to that. Even today, you would just take a bath on a truck like that. So for the time being, what I'm going to do, since everything is just complete chaos, is I have some other sponsorships. You can see I've got wheels and tires sitting over here that were intended for this vehicle. I've got some other stuff that I wanted to really do with this platform. And since I don't really totally trust any manufacturer right now, whether it be Ford, GM, Ram, I just don't have a whole lot of faith in anything at this point in time. So I'm going to take the truck that I do love when it works, and hopefully it is just going to work from here on out at this point, and we'll see how that goes. So I am going to continue doing some things to this truck that I intended on doing the day that I bought it for this channel. This was a huge purchase for me, and I'm going to see it through, I guess. This chapter of where I'm at with this truck, I'm going to turn it back to positive stuff as long as I can. I'm hoping that this thing just is done being a problem. Hopefully we've kind of crossed a threshold here of things that have been solved, and I can just get back to doing what I initially intended with this truck, which was content here on the channel and enjoying the most expensive vehicle I've certainly ever purchased. It's a nice truck. It's a beautiful truck. It's just, hopefully I can keep it in my possession. So with that being said, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, please hit that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. I'll see you guys next time.